Today, we're diving into the mystery of Sedona, Arizona. You've probably seen pictures of those incredible red rocks, right? But this place is famous for something else entirely, something people travel from all over the world to find. We're talking about a vortex.
So, if you've ever looked into visiting Sedona, you've definitely heard this word thrown around, vortex. It's on tourist signs, in gift shops, it's literally everywhere. But what is it? What are people even talking about? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle.
Okay, so first things first, what is an energy vortex, anyway? Let's unpack the idea itself and, figure out where it even came from.
At its core, a Sedona vortex is believed to be this very specific spot, a place where the Earth's natural energy is supposedly super strong, all concentrated and swirling in one area. The idea is that it's kind of like a natural amplifier, It's supposed to make it easier for people to connect with something deeper, to feel things more intensely, or maybe even to heal.
And what's really fascinating is what people say they feel there. The reports are all over the map. Some people talk about this sudden wave of emotion. Others describe this incredible sense of calm just washing over them. You'll even hear people talk about physical sensations, like a tingling on their skin. Now, these experiences are absolutely real to the people having them, but I do have to point out, there's no scientific consensus on what this vortex energy actually is.
So you might be thinking this is some ancient, timeless belief, right? Well, that's the surprising part. While indigenous peoples have considered this land sacred for generations, this specific idea of a vortex is actually pretty new. It really took off in the mid-20th century, thanks to New Age writers and spiritual seekers. They were the ones who pointed to these amazing rock formations and said, hey, that's an energy center. And the idea just spread like wildfire.
All right, so if you were to actually go to Sedona, where would you even start? Let's talk about the 4 main spots, the big ones that everyone talks about. And what's cool is that each one is supposed to have its own distinct vibe.
Yeah, check this out. It's almost like a spiritual menu. People say each spot has a different flavor of energy. So if you're feeling a little stuck and need a boost of confidence, the go-to is Bell Rock. But if you're looking for something more introspective, maybe some emotional healing, then everyone will tell you to go to Cathedral Rock. It's this wild idea of mapping different human needs right onto the landscape itself.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the where. But what about the actual experience itself? What does it feel like? This is where things get really interesting. Because it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. It's totally personal.
And this leads to the big question, probably the one a lot of you are thinking right now. Do you have to believe in all this stuff to feel something? And honestly, the answer you hear from almost everyone who goes, believer or not, is a resounding no. Not at all. Think about it. You can call it vortex energy, or you can just call it plain old awe. It's pretty much impossible to stand in a place like that, surrounded by these gigantic, ancient, silent red rocks, and feel absolutely nothing. The sheer scale and beauty of it all. It just hits you. It doesn't matter what you believe.
So what are people actually doing when they visit a vortex? You might be picturing some complicated ceremony, but most of the time it's really, really simple. It's about finding a spot away from the crowds, sitting down, and just being there. Breathing, looking around, paying attention. It's less about a ritual and more about just disconnecting from all the noise for a little while. All right, so that's the spiritual side of the coin, the idea of energy vortexes. But what about the scientific perspective? Is there another way to explain why so many people have these incredibly powerful experiences in Sedona?
And this is the key, right here. The sensations are real, the explanations are what differ. On one side, you have the spiritual explanation of concentrated Earth energy. But on the other side, science points to a few things. You've got the iron-rich geology, which can create subtle magnetic variations. You have the just jaw-dropping scenery. And of course, you can't forget the power of psychological expectation. If you go somewhere expecting to feel something special, you're a lot more likely to.
So where does that leave us? What's the real power of a place like Sedona? Let's try and tie this all together.
I think this quote really nails it. Maybe we're asking the wrong question. Maybe it's not about what the rocks are giving us, but about what happens inside of us when we're in that incredible environment.
When you really think about it, the true magic of Sedona might just be the invitation it offers. It's a place that almost forces you to slow down, to be quiet, to just look around. And in our crazy nonstop lives, an invitation like that, a place that gives you permission to just connect with yourself in the world, that is incredibly powerful all on its own.
So, I'll leave you with this to chew on.
Is the magic really in the landscape itself, or is it in our own readiness to connect with it? Does Sedona create the experience, or does it just set the perfect stage for an experience we were already looking for? Maybe the real answer is that it's a little bit of both.